Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to the marketplace. Coming up, government to begin implementation of several interventions aimed at offering relief to farmers hit by recent dry spell, including interest-free loans.
So today, on the 8th, yesterday, we started moving fertilizers from our warehouses to the regional distribution centers to be given to farmers.
Also coming up, organized labor faces backlash after a decision to suspend strike over Galamsey. We'll discuss as military personnel are deployed in renewed crackdown on illegal mining. Plus, Communications Minister Esther Osei-Kuffour announces November 1 as launch date for 5G service rollout. My name is Darrell Kwao. Thanks for being with us. Details coming up. Thanks for staying with us, everyone. First up, government will today start the implementation of several interventions aimed at offering relief to farmers hit by the recent dry spell. Key amongst them, food grants, farm inputs, fertilizer, and interest-free loans. Minister for Food and Agriculture, Dr. Brian Acheampong, has been speaking on PM Express Business Edition, which airs tonight at 9.
Look, what did we announce? One, that we need to get our food systems back on track to help the farmers in the north get back into production very, very quickly. And what you do is that because they've lost their crop, a majority of them, they've lost their open pollinated seeds, we give them seeds and fertilizers immediately. And to be able to get the south to produce quite a good quantity of maize so that we can meet our 2.5 million metric tons or 2.4 million metric tons of maize that we require per annum, we have to also give significant quantity of inputs to farmers in the south. And so today, on the 8th, yesterday, we started moving fertilizers from our warehouses to the regional distribution centers to be given to farmers. So that has started. We also promised farmers that we will give them food. And these are farmers in the 8 regions, the transition and then the transition zones and the savannah zone. That too, we have about currently 34,000 metric tons of rice from our warehouses that are moving to the regions. And then we have a lot of drip tipper trucks that are going to take it from the regional distribution centers to the districts for onward distribution to the farmers. So that is really what is going on now.
Help me understand the measures that are in place to ensure that the right farmers out there are indeed going to get these supplies that are being pushed in.
It's quite simple. And we've announced it from the first day that we announced the dry spell. And we've announced it when I announced the commencement of the implementation of the measures, that the only way you can be a beneficiary is if you are a farmer and your farm is registered.
Are they registering?
Absolutely. I mean, this is a farmer's details. You can check on the screen. The farmers are registering. We have 3,000 boots on the ground, ensuring that every single farmer that is affected is captured on the system. There's no other way. There's no other way, there's no other protocol way to benefit from it or political way to benefit from it. You must be a farmer and your farm must be registered.
Now, turning to other stories, the much talked about high-speed 5G internet service is set to be rolled out from November 1 this year. Communications and Digitalization Minister Esther Osei-Kuffour has announced. Here's George Rafi with more.
The minister disclosed this during a discussion on Peace FM's morning show. This should mean that the service is now going to be rolled out at least a month earlier than the original December date that was announced by government. It has already joined hands with some firms to establish what it describes as the shared infrastructure for the 5G services. Government claims this will deliver high-speed mobile internet services across the country. Government has already awarded the 5G license to the next-gen infrastructure company established by these partners to lead the rollout. But there has been concerns raised by some of the telecom players, and one is not sure whether all these issues have been addressed ahead of the rollout. So, if you thought that the 4G plus service currently being offered by some of the mobile operators was fast, well, the 5G will be 10 times fast than that one in a split of a second.
Right, awaiting that announcement now, Secretary General of the African Continental Free Trade Area, Wamkeli Mene, says there is evidence of trading taking place under the framework. Now, concerns have emerged as to why only a few African countries are taking advantage of the free trade, which intends to create a single market of 1.5 billion people. Speaking at the opening ceremony of the Biashara Africa Summit in Kigali, Rwanda, Wamkeli Mene noted that although in modest quantity, trading is still taking place under AfTA.
Commercially meaningful trade has commenced under the Guided Trade Initiative, which we launched in October 2022 with 7 countries at that time. This year, 39 countries will be trading under the Guided Trade Initiative, demonstrating commercially meaningful trade on the basis of the AFCFTA. Less than 1 month ago, private sector here in Rwanda exported to Ghana a consignment that included 400 kilograms of tea, 400 kilograms of coffee, and other products. This export of this consignment demonstrates a trend which began in October 2022 of focusing on trade in value-added production, signaling a strategic shift away from traditional export of unprocessed raw materials. Commercially meaningful trade under the preferences of the AFCFTA is therefore taking place. Although modest in volume, we do, however, see trade happening across regions of the African continent. Large and small economies are issuing certificates of origin, which is evidence of this trade, for exports to other state parties.
Now, back here in Ghana, the Ghana Union of Traders Association, GUTA, is asking the Energy Commission to be heavy on public sensitization to educate consumers on energy-related issues. According to President of the association, Dr. Joseph Obeng, this will help promote awareness and demand for renewable energy sources and energy-efficient products amongst Ghanaians. He was speaking at the launch of the 2024 Ghana Power and Energy Expo.
The consuming public is not even aware. It shouldn't be that we bring technical requirement only for the importer, but then we should also educate the final consumer on the new trends of what is required of us. Because how is the final consumer going to know that this product consumes less energy? I think this is the way to go. That's what Energy Commission is working very hard on. But I think the consumer education is lacking. And that's why I will need Energy Commission in the next meeting so that at least we can also tell the exhibitors the new trend that the nation requires, what the nation requires, because we don't have to bring the obsolete. Sometimes they will bring the obsolete that is not being used in the advanced nations and fund this nation in Africa and elsewhere. We do not require that.
Yeah, time to mix some business and politics, and an issue that has dominated the news this week to do with Galamsey for a while now because of its environmental and economic implications. It's also becoming a political issue Organized labor had set a strike action for today to demand action from the government. That strike action was called off following some enhanced measures outlined by the government. Joining me to discuss the latest developments, Executive Director of the Policy Initiative for Economic Development, Dr. Daniel Amartey Anim. Good afternoon to you. What do you make of how things have unfolded with organized labor calling off a strike, intended strike? Some have said organized labor was the last hope in the fight against Galamsey. Your thoughts?
Good afternoon. Yes, that is so, because considering the caution or the statement they've issued to government, we're all of the view that they're going to activate same without any flexibility. But it appears, having engaged government, they have relaxed on their stance. Yes, economically, one may say it's good for the economy, for the fact that organized labor is not going on strike. But there again, government will have to demonstrate the commitment that whatever they've agreed to do, that is deploying the military to the site, ensuring that the LI is unoperational legally, and also other mechanisms to ensure that they will be addressing the issues of Galamsey. If that commitment is demonstrated and it is seen by organized labor, then we may safely conclude that government this time around is trying to bring a certain degree of a solution to the Galamsey issues. However, on the other side, in terms of the social impact and even the future economic impact of Galamsey and its related impact on the environment, water bodies, even on agriculture. Here specifically, I'm even referring to the cocoa sector. One may safely say that cost will even outweigh whatever economic cost that may emanate should organized labor go on strike. So to put all into perspective, being an economist, one may say that yes, organized labor relaxing their stance is good. But in terms of that political leadership and that commitment from government, one would have expected the leadership of the country, that's the political leadership here I'm referring to His Excellency the President and his team, to expedite action by demonstrating to all Ghanaians that the fight against Galamsey, it is something that should be imminent. It is something that its economic cost in the near future will outweigh or will even destroy almost all the fundamentals of our economy. Because once you start importing water, once your people started falling sick in terms of the health implication, bringing medicine, importing medicine into this country, you have to expand medical facility. It will have effect on productivity. And also, it is affecting agriculture in terms of the quality of our export to other economies. As it stands now, the EU started complaining. What it means is that it will affect our inflows. And as it stands now, we are having issue with our forests. That's the exchange regime. The city is not performing so well. The macroeconomic fundamentals are not too strong. So if we find ourselves into an area where now the small reserve that we have to use all to import medicine to the country because of Galamsey-related health issues, to buy water, import water, and also not receiving inflows from our export, then what it means is that we are doomed. So to me, the future or the immediate cost of Galamsey and its related or associated impact on the environment, water bodies, and the overall economy will outweigh whatever economic impact that the organized labor may even have to compel political leaders to do what is right.
All right. I mean, the government talks about enhanced measures to tackle illegal mining, including deploying additional military personnel to areas where illegal mining is happening. Some have said this is not a new approach. This is nothing new. There's nothing new in there.
My view, respectfully, is that the reason which we are unable to fight Galamsey and its related issues is because political actors are in that particular space. The very moment His Excellency will exercise that high level of commitment given to him by the Constitution to be able to ensure that whoever is affiliated to the ruling party or to his person, he will be able to deal with the person without fear or favor. The issue of Galamsey, in my view, within a month, we should bring sanity to that. It is because political actors are there and the ruling government is benefiting from same. And that's the reason which they are not having that political commitment to be able to decisively and aggressively address the issue. So once he's willing, and then this is the time for him, respectfully, they should be able to leave a legacy that, he was able to fight Galamsey and he brought sanity into our river bodies, our forest reserves, and creating an alternative income generation for these young people. That should be, to me, one of the biggest legacy that His Excellency Nana Addo should be able to leave. So the onus lies on him to be able to demonstrate that. To me, if that is not done, I will employ organized labor and all professional association and all well-wishing Ghanaians to be able to put the pressure on government, to be able to do what is right.
Right. Let's dwell a bit on the economic implications for us. Most of the time we talk about the environmental impact. Just to paint a picture, what's at stake?
Look, in recent time, if you recall, even data given by the Ghana Statistical Survey indicates that revenue from the cocoa, that is what started falling. So that's a clear indication. Number two, in recent time, the EU started giving us a red flag in terms of our exports of foodstuffs into the European market. That is another significant area. They started, even domestically, the scientists have identified mercury and other minerals that is not safe for the human consumption in our foods. So in terms of importing medicine, and let me give you an example. Even during the time of COVID, you recall, as a nation, we couldn't even buy the medicine. We have to rely on donor support.
Yeah.
The porousness of our health facilities. Okay, and it is against that background that the government wanted to roll the Agenda 101, in terms of putting up more health facilities. So in terms of importation of medicines into this country, you need to get more medical officers. You need to expand your health facilities, active to be able to contribute to economic contribution, economic productivity. Then the next aspect is the direct economic impact, which means there will be ban on our cocoa beans, there will be ban on the food item that we export to other economies. And when that happens, we may not get the inflow to be able to beef up. As it stands now, as a nation, we cannot immediately go to the capital market to borrow because of our high debt stock, and then, and that's the reason which we have to resort to the IMF bailout and all these debt restructuring mechanism that the government is employing. So the picture is a very dire situation, economically, socially, and health-wise. And it is something that should be look at it from, it should be declared as an emergency. And then one will wonder why His Excellency and the team respectfully are not taking immediate and radical steps and offering, alternatives that, if you do the cost-benefit analysis, may not even be able to address the immediate future impact of Galamsey and its related impact on agriculture, on our inflows into the economy, and the overall discussion of the macroeconomic fundamentals.
Right, and finally, disappointingly, it's becoming very political, but the political parties are pointing accusing fingers at each other, but we are not seeing them effectively speak about policy to tackle it if either party takes office wins the election in December. That's missing. We are not seeing policy to effectively tackle Galamsey going forward, and that is worrying.
Yes, it is a notorious fact that during the days of NDC, we have people doing illegal mining. Just that this time around, we have seen it into a higher magnitude. And all of them, that is where they get their mandates from. And that's the reason why they are not showing commitment in terms of policy direction to decisively address the issue. So it is even not about, NPP. It should be a national consensus. We're making sure that we bring all these two critical political parties, for obvious reason, they are the alternative in terms of our recent governance mechanisms, okay? The view is that if NPP should leave power, the alternative should be NDC. We should be able to bring all of them on board to give us a policy in terms of addressing Galamsey. But to answer you, all the politicians, they are victims. They have their men there. And that is bad for this nation. We are producing political leadership who are greedy. They're thinking about themselves. Because do you know what they're thinking? They may have the money that probably they might have stolen or benefited from Galamsey to import water. But the ordinary Ghanaian may not be able to do that. And if you have a caliber of people thinking in this direction, what it means is that literally they are destroying this nation. Okay, and that is not good for our democracy, and that is not good for a nation, a wonderful nation that God has blessed us with.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you so much, Dr. Daniel Martin, Executive Director, Policy Initiative for Economic Development. Appreciate your time with us on The Marketplace. Quick break, we'll be right back. And thanks for staying with us, everyone. Before we go, students of St. Monica's College of Education have been encouraged to deepen savings and investment habits for long-term financial security. Citing his experience as an example, college principal Dr. David Ocho-Korankye advised students to explore supplemental income streams alongside teaching for financial stability. He spoke at the college's annual departmental conference themed The World of Work. Mohammed Nuruddin has more.
I didn't stop teaching. By 2013, 2014, I had decided to go back to do my PhD. And there was opportunity for me also to do additional things. So I started my poultry farm. Okay, so I started my poultry farm.
Principal of St. Monica's College of Education, Dr. David Korankye cautions against financial complacency, emphasizing the importance of saving for emergencies. Teachers, like other professionals, sometimes struggle with unexpected expenses due to lack of savings and investment. Dr. Korankye urges his students to cultivate saving habits and increase their savings once they begin teaching.
Don't just go and wherever you are placed, you go and sit there and you are saying that for teachers we are poor, for teachers we are poor. My wife, you started teaching here, 2001. She was the head of Department of Home Econs at St. Monica Senior High School, and she was selling spring roll. Early in the morning before we go mass, I've helped her to start frying of the spring roll. And that, you get it. So please, don't sit down. There are lots that you can use your free time to do.
All right, some sound financial advice there. And in The Marketplace, more news on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. My name is Daryl Kwao. Thanks for watching. We will be back same time tomorrow.